the great egret right now. She's going to be filming into the sun, but that's where the great egret is. Hey there. So cute. Coming back. Ooh, it's warmer over there. So, it was an interesting morning. Our head of maintenance, Marlon, came out. We were out here a little earlier trying to catch fish. And we caught our first fish earlier. And this fishing pier, except for, 10 days, hasn't been open since early June of 2018. It was open for 10 days in March before we closed down again. 2019.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I haven't done this program since 2018.
Yeah.
So this is exciting. Haven't done this particular catching the day program since 2018 when our fishing pier closed down. And then our pier was open for 10 days in March. And so this egret, this great egret, has not been used to people feeding it. We've talked about a lot of different videos that we've been on about feeding wildlife and how harmful it is. This great egret basically has not been fed for almost 2 years. And we put one fish in the pool, we walked away, we went fishing again. I came back and I went, Mylon, are you playing a trick on me? Where's my fish? The great egret came in and took it. That's how much they retain this bad behavior of being fed. So he still has this bad habit. So again, please don't feed wildlife, y'all. It really changes things. All right, so let's get going. We have a lot of cool animals to talk about. And again, we've been fishing this morning. And in the summer, in the past, this is our program I call Catch of the Day. And so fishermen, or whatever is being caught off the pier, we put in this pool and hopefully you can see him swim. So, Barkley, we're going to focus on the croaker.
If I drop my phone.
Don't drop the phone.
Okay.
So these are croakers, and they're all pretty small right now. And croakers, anybody want to guess why they're called croakers? And I don't know if Barkley is going to be able to see questions today because it's very sunny out here. And she's trying to shield. But croakers, they have a swim bladder, and the swim bladder helps to keep fish going up and down in the water column filled with air. Sharks, which we were hoping to catch a shark today and we haven't. Sharks have a bladder filled with liver, and that helps to keep them neutrally buoyant, but fish have air bladders. And some fish, like croakers, they have an air bladder that they drum. And I don't know if we'll be able to hear it croak. I'll put it up to the phone if it starts croaking. But there's a croaker, but they're bottom feeders. You can see that mouth. Whoops. Ah! Bottom feeder.
Sorry. You can tell I'm not a naturalist.
Or a fisherman.
Sorry.
It's okay. So fish have a lot of counter shading. A lot of different animals have counter shading. And dark on top, light on the bottom. And so it looks, well here we'll put, can you do this?
Oh, okay.
We're going to have all these different movements with film today, so bear with us. Think about this with sand, how it blends in with the bottom. And then if I'm looking underneath this fish, what's it look like? It looks like the sky. So this is counter shading. Killer whales, great white sharks, they all have counter shading like that. So eventually we're... I don't know if you can hear the croaking.
Kind of, sure.
It's there. It's the best I can do.
Yeah.
I can't make him croak louder. But that's his air bladder drumming. And that's communication, we think. So that's pretty cool. Croaker will get to be about this big. And so one thing you always want to know, when you go fishing, it is your responsibility to know what kind of fish you're catching, have to ID them, and to know how many you're allowed to keep and what the size limit is. It's your responsibility, whether you're in freshwater or saltwater. When you're on the fishing piers, you do have to buy a fishing pier pass to fish. All fishing piers are going to require you to buy a pass. If you're on the beach, you're going to have to buy a saltwater fishing pass from, DNR or from, like your local tackle shop or something. So keep in mind, you do need to know your rules and regulations. Croaker, along with whiting that we're going to talk about here in a little bit, they and spot, they go along, you can catch up to 50 and there's no size limit. But if it's too small, like this fish, look at this cute little croaker. He's so small, do we really want to keep him for food? There's not much food there. Okay, another thing we can talk about with the croaker, you can see a little line there also how both whiting and croaker, they're bottom feeders, so they can rest on the bottom. Not all fish can do that, but these can. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to take a couple croaker out and release them. And yes, the release is literally you throw them over the pier. I know, it's very unceremonial, but that's how you do it. Oh, this one has a really good lateral line. Oh, for sure. I don't know, can you hear it again?
Stop it! Yes. Oh, I heard it.
Well, that was
Why am I doing this?
because you didn't want to be on camera.
This is true.
All right, so that was croaker. And people do eat croaker. I just think you should let croaker grow a little bigger. I imagine everyone is dying to know about what one. What do you think? What's the coolest thing in this pool right now, in my opinion?
Jellyfish.
Yeah,
Well,
jellyfish.
first of all, remind people we're at Myrtle Beach State
We
Park.
are at Myrtle Beach State Park, and yes, state parks are reopening May 1 in some capacity. There's press release out. Really start going eventually to the local each park's website, because every park will not be the same.
Right. All right.
So this is a cannonball jellyfish.
my
Is this
goodness.
not the coolest thing ever?
Very
So cannonball jellyfish, and this is a huge one. So huge. Gosh, it's big. So cannonball jellyfish. Oh, I guess all jellyfish don't sting people. I guess all jellyfish don't hurt people. So this is one that will not hurt us. Yep, you can touch it. I know it's slimy. Jellyfish are made primarily 95% water. They don't have, do they have a heart? Do they have a brain? Do they have bones? They just basically have nerve and muscle cells. That's the stomach. And so the stomach's up here, but here's the cool thing. There's so many cool things. Gosh, this thing is so slimy and heavy.
It's
But
very heavy.
Are you ready to
Deceptively
look
heavy.
inside?
Yes.
Because sometimes we have 2 spider crabs.
Oh my goodness.
So here's one. We'll get out one. And so jellyfish, they will sometimes have spider crabs, and we have a bigger version of a spider crab. But little spider crabs, especially when they're in plankton form, they're small, they're zoea. Megan, a couple weeks ago at Hunting Island, was talking about zoea and megalops as blue crabs were in their life cycle. And when they're in plankton form, they will go inside the bell of the jelly, and there they'll grow, and they'll find they have, what do you think they have? They have free ride, free protection, unless what happens?
Jellyfish get eaten.
Yeah, jellyfish gets eaten, and we'll talk about the coolest animal out there that eats, especially loves cannonball jellyfish. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But other fish will eat it. Oh, you can see the other spider crab coming out now. And sometimes, I think when we caught this jelly earlier, we did have the spider crab up on the bell. So sometimes when you're on a pier in a boat, you'll see the cannonball floating around, and you'll see the spider crabs on top of the jellyfish, which is pretty cool. And they're not jellyfish. They're not related to fish. Again, they don't have a backbone. So really we call them jellies, cannonball jellies. Cannonball jellies are not horrible swimmers. Most jellies are considered plankton. It's a Greek word for wanderer. And so they're not great swimmers, but cannonballs, they can get a little bit of movement in the water column, and obviously they'll also go with whatever the current is doing. And especially right now for the past, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, there literally have been hundreds of cannonball jellyfish washing up inshore, and that is very typical this time of year. Cannonball jellies really we have an influx this time of year, and that's why the animal I'm eventually going to talk about usually will start showing up. And so as they get closer in and the wind is pushing them, the current's pushing them, they're not that good of swimmers. They can't go, hey, when they don't have a brain, but they can't swim against it. So they're just washing up. And they do die. It's just part of their life cycle. Other crabs, other birds, then will start eating them. But they're a lot more hardy than most jellies. Most jellies are going to,
Is there a way to tell if they're dead or newly up on the beach? Should people try to see that and put them back?
The problem, I'm all for always trying to rescue an animal if you know that it's safe, because keep in mind, if it's a stinging jellyfish, dead or alive, can hurt you. So even if a jellyfish is dead, if it's a type of stinging jellyfish, it can still sting you. So be aware of that. proteins take a long time to break down. Basically, you're always looking for the pulsing.
Right.
And if it, if it doesn't look deflated, the problem is you got to get it out beyond all the breakers. So that's the toughie. That's a toughie.
Let's try to find this way back in.
Yeah. And also, I think up to 10 species of fish also will find homes inside the jellyfish, which is pretty cool. Sometimes we find butterfish and harvest fish, permits that we'll find inside the jelly. They're really my favorite. I love catching cannonball jellies. Yeah. So we'll let that go for a little bit. Okay, so our next fish, and this is just pigment. It just rubs off. So, by the way, cannonball jellyfish, they do have nematocysts, they do have the stingers. They're too small for us to handle. Now, if I stick my hand up inside the bill, and then I rub I lick my finger, rub my eye, which I shouldn't do right now
Right.
in the world of COVID, that could make me get a little itchy, get a little,
Okay.
I can feel a slight, maybe that wasn't a great idea. So keep that in mind. All right, so we have whiting. This is a great fish to eat. And this is good. You can see the lateral line right there. And whiting, they're definitely bottom feeders. Again, they have that vacuum mouth.
Like a Hoover.
Exactly like a Hoover. Not gonna let me get it out. Well, you saw. I shouldn't have cut my nails. Well, you got the idea. Oh, there we go. There's the Hoover. Okay.
Wow.
And then I don't know, Barkley. Can you see there's a little barbel there? Here, wait.
Well, let me get real close.
Yeah, there's a barbel right there. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah.
Okay, the barbel. So come back to me.
Okay.
So the barbel is helping them to find food on the bottom.
Yeah.
And they're going to suck up worms, clams, little fish. So it just hoovering up. And again, you can see how they sit on the bottom. I wish we had a fish we could show you that can't sit on the bottom like this, but that just didn't happen. We never do this program in April because the waters are still warming up, and so I had no idea what we would catch today. So I'm just excited that we have stuff to show you.
I did not know I was a Hoover. I've learned something.
So they're doing well for this time of year. Whiting will get to be, well over a pound, maybe 2. And again, very good eating, nice white flesh. Again, they're with croaker, spots, and whitings. You don't have to, you would measure a fish. TL means tail length, so you would measure it from here to there. Okay, I know I'm measuring it in the middle of it, but bear with me, people. You would measure it if you knew it had to be like a weak fish, which we didn't catch today, is 12 inches tail length. If it's under that, you must release it. Okay? All right, so the big thing we've caught today, there are tons of hermit crabs in the water right now. And hermit crabs there's a couple different species. Mainly, this is the best one that you're seeing right now. This is called, it's a very good name, flat-clawed hermit crab. And this is about as big as they're going to get. And hermit crabs, these live in the ocean. And you're like, well, obvious, they live in the ocean. However, where do most of you find your hermit crabs?
On the beach.
On the beach, or you go into the beach shops.
Yeah.
And you buy those. Are we good? Okay, sorry, I was like, did we catch a fish? Well, I'm not sure something cool might be happening or not. I don't know. Hey, it's live it's not TV, but it's live.
The bird's still there, though. That's cool.
Yeah, the bird's still there. Anyway, so hermit crabs, these live in the ocean their entire lives, and they're constantly looking for different shells. So you can see we have right here, a lot of you would call this a conch. This is actually a knobbed whelk. This is a beautiful one. This is a banded tulip. And this is a moon snail. If you've ever been walking down the beach and you found a perfectly round beveled hole in a shell, the moon snail probably murdered
It's
it.
like an acorn.
Yeah. And then the other thing, Barkley, can you... So see, this is like a slimy thing.
Mm-hmm.
See how it's...
Yeah, like an acorn.
Yeah, like an acorn. So what we're going to try here...
Is that a different thing?
It's a different thing. And now we're going to move over here and see if you can get out of the shadow because they're out right now. So these are anemones. Sea anemones. A-N-E-M-O-N-E. I think that's how you spell anemone.
Mm-hmm.
And so anemones, these are hermit crab anemones. So this is the coolest symbiotic relationship. An anemone will get on the shell of a hermit crab, and the anemone has little stinging cells like this, and they'll take in as a hermit crab is, because they're scavengers, they're just going to eat whatever they can on the bottom. As they're eating, they're messy eaters, and all these little food particles are going to go up and the anemone snatches them. And also gets a little bit of protection from the claws of the hermit crab. But the anemone, because it has stinging cells, also helps protect the hermit crab also from little octopus, which is kind of cool. And so it's a really good relationship. And when a hermit crab gets too big for its shell, what's it need to do? Oh, we have a whiting? So are we? Okay, so Cooksey is catching a whiting, so Barkley's going to go see it.
Hi, Doug. Don't get it close to me. That's pretty. Alright. Hey, Doug.
Oh, yeah, Cooksey!
Get that whiting to sign a release real quick.
All right, so that was a whiting. So this is what Cooksey caught is a whiting. And again, the lateral line, we got the vacuum mouth and the barbel there.
Oh, you can definitely see the barbel.
Yeah, that's
it was sticking out.
it was.
No, I saw it. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. No.
Cool. Okay.
Bye.
That one too. All right. In fact, I'm going to release a lot of these fish. They've had enough of this pool. So if you're coming in late, we're at Myrtle Beach State Park live. These are fish and crabs we caught today, and this is a croaker.
Oh, that's a good line.
Yeah, it's a good lateral line. I can hear the croaking again. Nope. I can, when it vibrates, y'all, I can feel it with my hand. That's the cool thing. But it's not vibrating right now. It is not croaking. All right, I'll keep one fish. Okay, so we were talking hermit crabs, and I don't think we finished the story. So when they change shells, so hermit crabs, the limiting factor is shells. They can't just, they can't just go to the store and buy the clothes. They're like sometimes in COVID too. There's not always, the store's not always open. So when we have a beach renourishment project around here, I tend to see all of a sudden we catch a lot more hermit crabs off the pier because all of a sudden when they are pumping sand from the ocean, a lot more shells got exposed and hermit crabs are going, yes! Because now they have lots of new clothes, they have lots of new shells that they can keep growing and get bigger and bigger. But when they change the shell, do you think they take that anemone?
No.
They do.
No.
They do. They'll take their shell and they will keep prodding the anemone off and then put it on their new shell, and then the anemone will find a new spot on
Get
that shell.
out.
I know, so cool, right?
That is amazing.
Yeah, so let's watch this.
Okay. What are we watching?
So we're gonna watch that anemone. So are we ready?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, what are you gonna do?
So I'm like a predator right now. So what do you think's gonna happen, Barkley, when I touch it?
I'm gonna scream.
You're not gonna scream. Don't scream because we
Okay,
want
okay.
people to see this. So it's scared. So I'm gonna touch the tentacles, and it's gonna go in.
No.
That's how it protects itself. So that's what you're seeing on this one.
That's a little open.
It's the same thing. It's not
really
gonna open right
close.
now because it's stressed. Because we've been in the pool. Okay.
Cool.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm gonna get rid of some of these. Well, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna put this in the shade.
You teach us so much, Anne.
So much.
It's
All right.
crazy.
So we're done with fish.
Yeah.
Okay. So, oh my gosh, there's so much to talk about. I was worried we wouldn't have anything to talk about. I should know better.
Yeah, right.
All right. Are you ready, Barkley? 'Cause we're going in.
Okay. Yes.
So they are moving. They're alive. See the foot moving? Yeah. Touch it. It's slimy. Ah! Oh, so why did it do that?
Because it asked. I don't know.
It's a form of defense.
It's making room in there.
It's also making room, but it's also defense. Like when you screamed and you jumped away, maybe a predator would go, oh, maybe I don't want that. Okay, so it's defense. So we have, this is a channeled whelk, and again, a lot of you might call it a conch, but these are whelks. We don't have conchs up here. It's too cold. And whelks, again, this is channeled. We have other whelks in the area, but channeled. See how it's channeled? They also have periostracum on them. It's kind of fuzzy. And that's part of the shell. And that's just a little layer of protection. But usually a lot of times when they wash up on shore, now they're getting sandpapered from all the sand, and a lot of times this periostracum will just rub off. And other shells will have it. One of the most common clams on the beach, the ponderous art clam, has the black periostracum. And you might say that word differently. I've heard it very, I don't know.
People eat whelk?
Yeah. You can eat whelk. There used to be a whelk fishery in South Carolina. I'm not sure that there is anymore, but you can eat whelk. I've actually eaten one raw.
Oh.
In really tiny pieces, because as you can imagine, it's a snail. So it's very, very, very chewy. So here's the cool thing. So this right here is called the operculum. I love that word, operculum. Everybody out there say operculum. And this is a trap door that's made of the same substance as your fingernail. And this is on the edge of the foot, and that one right now it's helping protect it. So if a predator's coming or if it gets washed up on shore, it can help keep water inside. So it'll help protect them. So if you see an operculum by itself on shore, that tells you what's happened to that snail. Dead. So you find this snail walking along the beach, and you're like, man, I really want that whelk. Can you just pull out the snail and expect it to survive?
No.
This is its skeleton. This is not its home. So a hermit crab found this banded tulip, died, and when this banded tulip alive, it is a, see how this is gray? This is this bright orange, not bright orange, like a burnt orange color. It's a beautiful colored snail. This one is gray. So when this snail dies, then a hermit crab can move in. And we do have giant hermit crabs out here that can fit inside that shell.
So this comes with that.
Yes. Oh,
Originally,
okay, so, all
it's
right,
not like a hermit crab scounging. That is the thing.
This is the shell. So, okay, so anybody
Sorry,
seen this
I'm
on the
stupid.
beach? No. This is good because I bet you everyone else out there is asking. So have you ever found these on the beach? And they would be not this dry. Well, maybe if they've been on the beach long enough. This is the egg case of a whelk. And every whelk has a similar looking egg case. They just, like this is from, I'm pretty sure, a channeled whelk. They all look a tad different. But inside each whelk case, okay, see this hole?
Yes.
Okay, so the hole, that tells you this whelk egg case is already hatched. But if, let's see.
There's that many in there?
Yeah, and there's not just one inside each one, so I don't know if
not.
I can, I think I have a bad whelk. Hey AJ, can you give me that, yeah, that bag.
I bet they use those as music back in the...
It is
Caveman
good.
days.
So you know this one's dead because it's dried. Let me see if I have any, I didn't think about this. I'm trying to show you if there's any, how small the babies are inside. And I'm failing live on I want to say TV.
We can imagine how small they
So
are.
there's really small. I don't have any. Oh, no, I got it. Okay. So see all those?
Yes. Wow.
Tiny.
Dude.
So that's where they're born. Okay?
Okay.
And so then we'll continue the story. So this is how big it was when it was born. And now
like
it's
a
adding,
tree.
it's adding calcium carbonate. And it keeps growing. So this can never leave its shell. It's a skeleton.
Gotcha.
Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes, now it does.
Okay.
Because it's not the hermit crab finding that now at this stage.
No.
Okay.
No. And, oh, you can see, hey, Barkley, can you come straight down? I don't know if you can see it with reflection. Can you see? So this is the foot out. It's moving.
It's moving.
You can see the antenna out. So just think of your garden snail, but these snails live in the ocean.
Cool.
And this is how they'll keep growing. And then,
on the side, it was all...
oh, I'm sorry.
No.
So, okay, so the other thing is, notice how there's all these injuries.
Yeah.
Can you kind of see, like, it's not straight? Well, that's just like a broken type of bone. It's not bone, but it's calcium carbonate. And so when it gets injured, just like our broken bone, what's it do? It
Heals
repairs
different.
itself.
Ah.
But you can kind of see the stories.
Like if you etched into a tree like you shouldn't do.
Right.
And it goes
in a
over.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing, so a lot of these whelks, and these are pretty fast-moving whelks compared to the knob whelks and the lightning whelks. This is a right-handed shell. But some of these whelks also, and you can see that this is injured right here. What some of these whelks will do besides this will also scavenge. These are all in crab traps this morning. There are tons of channeled whelks out there right now. But what they'll do is they can also take bivalves or other clams, 2 shells, and they will kind of use it like a knife, open it up, and that can injure them. But over time, they'll just keep repairing it.
Okay.
So that's their knife.
But it's like a fingernail doesn't hurt them.
It's a good question.
Do we know if they have pain receptors?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Let's hope not.
I
I don't
don't
think it does. I think it's a fingernail.
I don't know. So again, always when you're shelling, if it's live, please put it back. And if it's, and then you want to make sure that there's no hermit crab in here.
Yeah.
So make sure it's not in there because, and even you can take a hermit crab out, maybe not injure it, but that's its home.
Yeah.
So skeleton, home.
Someone wants to know what the difference between whelks and conchs is. Well, they're
Okay.
two different animals, right?
Yeah, they're two different animals. Conchs are more southern Florida into the Caribbean. They are herbivores, so they eat algae and grasses, and that's why they're probably a little bit better to eat. Though some of the conchs are in trouble, they're over-harvested. These are carnivores. They're going to eat other snails and other clams, so they taste differently. And some of the conchs have this little notch right here where their eye stalks come out, and they're beautiful eye stalks. And they have a little bit more of a flare. So totally different. One, habitat, temperature, and also their eating styles.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a good question. All right, so let's go. Gwen, is it okay if we go over 30 minutes? Because we haven't talked everything yet. So we have a spider crab here. So this was the version from
inside.
Yes. Now one's left. So spider crabs, I love spider crabs. These don't swim. They have to walk. Like Megan had blue crabs a couple weeks ago, and we're going to have a blue crab here. So, a huge difference in just behavior. Okay? Barkley, you want to...
She said absolutely. And someone wanted to know how you know if a hermit crab's in a shell.
Well, yeah, Megan was talking about that last week, too. So, or I think it was Sam at Edisto. Sometimes it's obvious, like, okay, that is alive. But this one I know has a hermit crab in it. But, I mean, he's all the way back in here. This shell is probably a little... He's got too big of a t-shirt right now. You know, too big of a shell. And so sometimes you have to be really careful.
He's house poor.
Sometimes, you know, it's good, like, if you have time on the beach, put it down on the beach, leave it alone, and maybe it'll come out. I'll tell a story that I'm embarrassed about, but so you'd understand that's not always easy, and then to learn from my mistakes is I was in Louisiana, and we found some shells down the beach I'd never seen before. Not many beaches in Louisiana. And I looked and looked and looked and searched, and I went, empty. I'm going to take 2 home.
Uh-oh.
Got back to our cabin, and they started moving around.
Oh, no.
And I went, now I have to go back to the beach.
Oh.
You know, that was a couple hours. But they fooled me. I was positive there was nothing in there. But they totally fooled me.
Gwen says talk to you're tired. I don't know. I don't think she
Gwen,
means
that. I
that.
never get tired talking. Okay, so back to this.
Can you eat spider crabs?
Oh, yeah, great question. So right here, no. And we'll talk eating...
Eat it, Ann. Eat it.
No, I mean, like, literally, we don't eat spider crabs in South Carolina, or I think even on the East Coast. They're not big enough. And when we get to the blue crab, so the blue crab, when they have swimming legs, so they have a lot more meat right here on a blue crab. And I can't, it's easier to talk on this crab than a blue crab. But there's a lot, that's all the meat you're going to eat. Well, the meat isn't as well developed in the spider crab. And, but I was in California many years ago, and they had huge spider crabs.
Huge.
Like this was the size of the carapace, and they were for sale because there's a lot more meat. And then there's a relative of a spider crab in Japan. Anybody want to guess how big it is? Y'all start guessing. I'm not going to tell
5 feet. 10 feet.
Car
10
size.
feet?
Car size.
No.
I'm not talking like this size. I'm talking...
But a Japanese car size or American big old car size?
Oh, maybe a small Japanese
Okay.
car size. Leave it to you, Bart.
Well, I mean, because, you know, you got the Buicks and then you got the little...
It's big, Bart.
The Prius. Okay.
It's this boy big.
Huge.
Not tall.
Bigger than you'd want to eat.
Yeah, but I think they're in very deep water, and they're not easy to catch.
Okay, good.
Okay, so the other thing... No,
Oh.
he was doing it earlier. Okay, well, they on the end, do you have one hand to feel the end of their legs? They're kind of sharp. And that's helpful.
Fingernail.
Yeah, that's helpful because what do they do on the jellyfish? They're grabbing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? And also, if they're on a rocky bottom, they're in a crevice, they're going to hold on. We'll see if eventually it does it for me. And so anyway, they'll help hold on. So that helps wedge them in. They have pretty small claws. When I hold a blue crab,
It's very mechanical.
Yeah, I am not holding a blue crab like this. There would be so much blood right now. But you know, they will claw you. They will pinch you. And then also, it has a lot of sharp.
Oh yeah.
But there's also it's kind of this one actually is better.
Hairy.
Yeah, it's kind of hairy
Oh.
legs. Yeah. And you want to feel this leg?
No.
Feel this leg.
I just don't want to feel it.
Doesn't it feel soft? Soft and slimy?
Like velour.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm not even filming. There we go. Sorry.
And so it almost acts like Velcro. So especially when they're younger, especially if the jellyfish washes up on shore, the spider crab, I guess, is going to have to walk back.
Dang it.
And live on the bottom of the ocean. You know, have to have a different lifestyle. Oh, it's kind of doing it. And they'll take sponges and shells and seaweed, and they'll put it on the top of their carapace, and they'll walk around. They look like a living bottom, so it's great camouflage.
And it's called a spider just because because it doesn't have
It
8.
looks like
It has,
a spider.
well, it has 10 is what I'm saying. But someone just said it looks like a spider.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a big one.
Yeah, this is a big one.
Not Japanese.
But not Japanese big. Okay, so not Michaela. Megan. Megan from Honey Island a couple weeks ago was talking about the sex of crabs. And so see how this is skinny right here? Let's see this one. These are both male crabs. So we were talking about if you go to Washington, D.C. and you see the Washington Monument, that's a male crab. Okay? If this was a female, and I don't have any female, well, no, it's a male too. You can kind of, even you can see on a small one, it's a male. Isn't this great camera? I hope I think Barkley's doing a great job of camera work. It's not easy. She doesn't know what we're going to do from one second to the next. But so a male, if it was a female, it'd just be more rounded. It wouldn't look like the Capitol building like the blue crab does. But spider crabs are really cool. A lot of times, and it's just not doing it, I can hold them over like that, and they're totally holding on to me. They're just not doing it today. Okay? All right. I think we should let this jelly go.
Aw. Bye, Jelly.
Let's get the spider crabs back in.
Yeah. Going for a ride. It's like a parachute. But that doesn't open.
Yeah, okay. So why they call cannonball?
Oh, don't say it. I'm going to drop my phone in there.
Yeah, okay.
Great white will come up. Hi.
Oh, there's a shark.
No.
There's a shark. I don't know if you got it on film. There's a shark.
I'm pointing down.
See, I don't.
Oh.
She can't tell. Oh, we have 2 sharks. We have a black nose and a black tip.
Oh, yeah.
Oh!
Oh, that poor jellyfish. Well,
They don't really like jellies. I don't know. I hope you can see this. So we have black tip sharks. And then it looked like one might have been a black nose. It's a lighter color and it has a little bit, like it has a black mustache. I hope you saw that. I don't know if Barkley got it or not. It's not easy. She can't see what she's doing. There's another jelly out there too. Sometimes we can have hundreds of cannonball jellies.
you know, I've had the face turned the whole time. They've been looking at my nose for an hour.
And nobody said anything.
No one said anything.
All right, let's do
All right.
so real quick. Let's go over here. So I asked the question many minutes ago about what animal eats cannonball jellies, and it's the giant leatherback sea turtles. So these sea turtles can get to be over 1,000 pounds, and they should be in our waters right now in April and May, migrating north, and they're feeding exclusively on jellyfish. And around here, cannonball jellyfish. And so what we're hoping, we've been seeing Kemp's Ridley sea turtles show up. We've been seeing loggerhead sea turtles show up. We haven't yet seen a leatherback from our fishing pier yet, but sometimes they get so close. And we have seen them from our fishing pier eat cannonball jellyfish. It's so cool. Leatherbacks don't normally nest here in South Carolina, but they're moving through.
That kind of goes with Amber's question of how long does a jellyfish live? Well, if the leatherback is around, not very long.
Not very long. And the Medusa adult stage, and again, I think there's 3,000 jellyfish. There's probably more. Scientists are discovering new ones all the time. But most jellyfish aren't going to live very long in the adult stage. Probably cannonballs, 3 to 6 months, probably. But everything's always different. Depends on temperature. I'm sure eventually with a Facebook Live, we're going to talk
New
sea
movie,
turtles.
leatherback versus Japanese spider crab.
Oh. Well, leatherbacks
About the same size.
Leatherbacks can dive a couple thousand feet.
Dude,
Yeah.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, they're
Two big ones.
leatherbacks are amazing. Eventually I hope to do just the species of sea turtles we have in the waters. Okay, so I'm gonna dump this out now.
We didn't show the blue crab.
I'm gonna dump it right here.
Oh, I thought you meant over there.
I am not going in this bucket because I'll be bloody.
Let me go over this side.
So yeah, is that good, Barkley?
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, you guys. Probably making you sick with my camera work.
Oh, there he goes. Okay, so this is a blue crab. So a spider crab, you already saw, was gonna move differently. So it has
That's pretty.
swimmerettes. And I hold them much differently than Megan does. You know, it's just different techniques. I hold them, see where this swimming paddle can move like 20 to 40 rotations in a minute. I hold it, I have my thumb and my index finger out, and I hold them right here, and I feel I have a really good grip. But everybody has different technique. That way I'm totally safe.
How was she holding it?
She was holding them by the claws.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's just, you know, a different technique. I don't do it like that.
She's danger.
She's awesome.
She likes danger.
So this, if we look, if you can zoom in or whatever on, if you can tell the color of the claw, how it's purplish, purple blue, already I know if it's a boy or a girl, a male or a female. I already know it's a male, but if you're not sure because of the claw,
there it is.
there is the Washington Monument. Yeah, I only have males today. Nature only gave us male crabs today.
It's the prettiest color blue.
Isn't it? They're so beautiful.
It really is. Can he see me?
Yeah, so you can, watch, you on the eyes?
Yeah.
See how it gets scared, it will go in, so protection. You can see the antenna helps with lots of smells, chemicals in the water. I don't know, you can see like, they aren't open right now. This has more knobby claws, so this is more grinding. This one is sharper and will pinch harder. So there are two different types of claws to help them with feeding. Cool. But like you would, and you know, if you get pinched, Megan was talking about this, if you get pinched, you're gonna bleed. You know, we're not palming the blue crab like we did with the spider crab. You can see a good view of the mouth parts not moving right now. And the beautiful blue, savory, beautiful blue swimmer.
What color would the female claw be?
Oh, right, sorry, red, bright red. Cool. And then the female, again, would be a Capitol building. And then the immature crab, an immature blue crab would be a pyramid, just a triangle. And then when they have eggs, and again, Megan talked about this a couple weeks ago, if you're watching, she had everybody guess how many eggs they'll lay, and they can lay 2 million, 1 to 2 million at least. And this is what the egg pouch looks like. So again, if you catch one with eggs, you do have to release it. And
definitely you can eat blue crabs.
Definitely can eat blue crabs, but again, you have to know your rules and regs. And this has to be 5 inches from tip to tip. And so this one is 5 inches. We can go, let's go measure it.
Let's go measure it. It seems fun.
Shadow. So we're almost at 7 inches.
So it's from this
tip to this tip.
Not the
No,
legs
this
or
tip to this tip. Right. Cool. Okay, so it's not easy to measure.
No,
but it's a good 7
one.
inches. Yeah. And as blue crabs will, here, let's just have a beautiful view of the ocean. We don't need me to, you don't need to see me anymore. Blue crabs, they will, once they mate, they'll release the eggs into the water and become plankton. And blue crabs, the males will grow throughout their life. So they'll grow bigger than the females, you know, 6, 7, 8. I think the record's like 9 inches, which is big. Females, once they mate and have their eggs, they're not going to grow anymore.
Are you going to throw him back?
No, this one actually came out of the aquarium. We didn't catch a blue crab today. All right, so we're going to start throwing all these animals back.
What was that one last fish then?
This is a whiting.
A whiting.
Yep, it's a whiting.
Cool.
So we got the vacuum mouth,
Hoover,
and the barbel.
And the line.
Yep. But we'll throw this spider crab back. It's the male. All right. And again, this one's too big for the jellyfish. And then, are these conchs or whelks?
Whelks. Conchs are in the Bahamas.
That's right. Southern Florida. Okay, and again, these are all channeled whelks. Haven't found anything else besides channel whelks today. We have knob whelks, lightning whelks, pear whelks. Okay.
Now, that bird that we saw, would that be able to get one of those whelks out of the shell and eat it?
Cooksey, we're going to eat this one, right? Yeah, and I think we're done. So we'll just release all these hermit crabs.
All right.
Do we have any other questions?
Any other questions? Let's pan over the...
So again, to see just all the different shells that hermit crabs use.
Cool.
So cool. Oh, see that right there?
Hold on.
See the hole?
Yep.
It's the beginning of a hole. That, when this snail was alive, was starting to get eaten by another moon snail, but the moon snail did not, I don't know, he escaped. So the hole did not go the whole way through. He has this tongue called a radula or radula,
and he just didn't
like it?
Well, maybe this snail, when it was alive, was faster. I don't know. It's part of the story. But it didn't die.
Cool.
Pretty cool.
Right.
Ooh, look at this. See that right there? See that?
The green stuff?
It's the brown. That's a worm tube. So worms make tubes out of sand. It's right
Cool.
there. I don't know if you can see it.
Good.
I don't know. I could talk all day.
All right.
Well, Gwen doesn't
we're
know what she's
good.
talking about. All right. Should we pan one more time?
And we got pelicans out there, which you probably can't see.
Pelicans. Can y'all see the pelicans? It's very quiet. Very quiet day. There's a plane.
Oh, we didn't have to stop because of the
didn't have to
airplane.
stop. Should we say goodbye?
I think we are done. I hope y'all had fun. I hope y'all learned a lot about sea creatures. One thing to keep in mind with any sea creatures when you're fishing, when you're beachcombing, when you're crabbing, is really think about the future. Don't think about just today. Think about the future. Think about your kids' future. We really want these animals to have plenty of food, water, space, clean water, watch your pollution, watch your use of plastic. Every action you do can make a difference, and we want a lot of these animals to be doing really well, 50 years from now when I'm no longer a park ranger. I'm no longer at Myrtle Beach State Park. So again, this is Ranger Ann live from Myrtle Beach State Park, and we'll be seeing you in less than 10 days. May 1st. We'll see you.